welcome to Davita's Stampin' Spot. It's Thursday and I have a project for you. It's graduation season and I thought it would be fun, at least for me, to share with you the design I created for our graduates this year. And I just think it turned out really cool. So I'm going to flip the camera around so we can get started. It never fails. If I don't switch before I start, it wants to go to my phone. And then there's other time, well, I shouldn't say it never fails. Sometimes it wants to go to my phone, and sometimes it goes to my camera. So today, of course, it wanted to go to my phone. All right, here's our pieces. 2.5 by 2.5, 3.5 by 3.5. I'll explain the cutout here in just a little bit. 3.5 by 3.5 with white, 4 by 4, and 8.5 by 8.5. All right, we're going to start with the 8.5 by 8.5 piece. We want to score it so that I'm scoring on the middle, both directions. Pull that down, that'll help a little bit. All right, so it's 8.5, so 4 1/4. So I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. Then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to score at 4 1/4 again. Okay, so that's the 2 scores there. Now I'm going to grab my paper trimmer. Now I use my score as much as I can because I feel like it's the most accurate, because sometimes I don't get things lined up right, or it's just a smidge off and that bothers me. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go from point to point. All right, make sure it's on this scoring, and we're going to score that. All right, and that's all the scoring that we need. So if we burnish those score lines now, you can see that we have 4 squares, and 2 of them we've made into triangles. Now, on the 2 pieces where we have gone diagonal, we want to cut off this point. So we're going to go from the score line, those 4.5 or 4 1/4 that we did, we're going from score to score. So now we're going to use the cutting. We're going to cut that piece off, and then we're going to turn around and do the same thing on this side. All right, get that lined up just right. And we're going to cut that off. Now this makes our base, all right? And what's going to happen is these 2 diagonal pieces are going to be folded in, and you're going to make a square. All right, get the paper trimmer out of the way. Just realized I forgot to cut one piece, so you're going to have to watch me cut that one piece here. All right, and I'm going over the score lines because I want to make sure it closes nicely. Okay. Now this was our technique card for May, and they made it into a birthday card. But I want to show you, I originally designed it for graduation. All right, now this one here, her school colors are maroon or kind of this deep red and gold. So what I did was I cut out the 26 because I'm going to cover that up with the square, and that way I didn't waste paper, right? Now, I originally wanted to make this look like the top of their mortarboard hat caps, but my hands just wouldn't do the string. And I was telling my friends at class that I was trying to figure out what to do. I was working on this while they were making their cards. And Ginger said, well, why don't you just put a 26 on there? So I cut out 26. So it's going to look like that. Okay, so here's what it looks like. I cut a square that was 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and then I could feel that edge. So I made sure I placed them in the middle, took a piece of the Post-it note tape to hold them in place, and then I ran it through the die cut machine. So I'm making 2 of them today. I also need to make one that is black and gold. So there's my black letters, but I want you to be able to see how that worked, okay? All right, so on the front then, I put adhesive sheet. That's what that white piece was on the back. You know, that's beginning to be something that I think you need to have in your stash that you have with you all the time, because it just makes all these die cut pieces so much easier to glue down. All right. We're going to put our 2 there and our 6. I'll show you how we're going to do the inside. We're going to make a pocket and we're going to decorate the top. All right. So using my lines here. Do you have the glass mat? If not, you need it, or you need to make sure you get some grid paper so that you can line stuff up nicely. All right. I've got 3 glue bottles here that are all about to the end of their days. And I should have grabbed a new one before I started today. Let's see if I can get glue out of any of them. All right. So I know this is going to be diamond shape, so I'm making sure it all lines up nicely. Again, using my lines on my glass mat. All right, there we go. So that is going to go on the top. What I like about having the Stampin' Up! Colors too is that you can decorate your cards, or decorate, you can design your cards. There we go, that's the right word. Design your cards so it's the colors of the school. I always just think that's really cool that you can do the colors. All right, I am going to grab a piece of the red because we need to make a little pocket. All right, so I got a piece here and we're going to cut it. This square, remember we did it at 4 1/4, means that this is a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 square. So I'm going to cut a square that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I'm going to place it on the trimmer so it goes from point to point. Line your points up. And we just need one of them. It's going to create a pocket on the inside. So I'm going to take adhesive and I'm going to put it just on the edge of 2 of the points, 2 lines here. All right. And then we're going to place it inside here. So excited for summer. School is out next Thursday. And then I hope to have more time so I can share even more ideas with you. I'm anxious to have some stamp time, to be quite honest. All right. So I'm going to grab the old stamp sets that I have for graduation. This is an old one. This is new. This is the Reason to Celebrate. This is another one of those sets that you're going to want to have because it just hits all the different special days. All right. So I'm going to grab, I saw another lady share this tip today and I thought, oh my gosh, that is so smart. I should have saved it for a Tuesday tip, but I'm going to go ahead and show you today. All right, so here's graduation. I'm going to line it up here. I'm going to pick it up with my block. Now you said, hey, you forgot the happy. I did that on purpose because so often if I try to do 2 of them at the same time, they stick to my fingers, and I can't get stuff lined up. So we're going to do them one at a time. There we go. All right. We are going to grab the 4x4 piece. And I'm going to decorate it with two of the pieces in this set. I'm going to use the graduation cap and the scroll for the diploma. Honestly, I very, very seldom will use old retired stuff because I hate it if someone reaches out and says, hey, I'd really like to buy that item. And I have to tell them I can't sell it to them because it's retired. All right. I've grabbed my ink and I'm going to grab the other ink here. I wasn't thinking this morning and I should have gotten them both out. All right. We're going to go like this. And then I'm going to do the happy graduation in the crumb cake is what I'm using. I think I'll go right here. And then I'm going to grab the diploma and we're going to put it over here. Yeah, I like that. That is going to be glued right up here. So that's my top section. Then for the bottom section, we're going to use the 3.5 by 3.5 white piece. Now this piece is going to slide in, and remember both of these need to be a diamond because they're sliding into the diamond shape. All right, so I'm going to grab all the hard work was worth it and put it right there. I'm going to use the cherry cobbler because I think it's easier to see. And then in this set, there's also a little graduation cap. I'm going to do that in the gold. All right. Get these out of the way. Okay. So this is going to slide right in here like that. And this piece is going to go right up here like that. So then it closes up and there is their 26. Isn't that an awesome design? I just think that is so cool. It gives a really fun moving card. It's in their colors. And here's my other tip. Let me tell you what I do. I write them a check for $20.26, 20.26, so they get 2026. All right, I hope you like this design and that you can use it for some graduates. Have a great Thursday, and I'll see you next week.